tucked into the CARES Act was a little-noticed windfall for private jet companies that will reward wealthy flyers for decades. Robert Frank joins us now with these details. Robert.
Good morning, Leslie. Well, it is the CARES Act gift that keeps on giving to private companies, private jet companies, and flyers. Now, to help the private aviation industry during the pandemic, the CARES Act suspended the 7.5% federal excise tax on private jet flights for the rest of this year. But there was a loophole: no expiration date for those flights. So you could buy the flights now and take them years from now. Private jet companies are launching big bulk jet cars that don't expire for 4 years or even longer. NetJets, Magellan, Jets.com, lots of others racking up big sales right now with cards of up to 100 hours that are tax-free. So if you bought 100 hours on a G450 from Magellan for $1.2 million, you would save $94,000 on taxes. And by the way, you don't have to take the flight until 2024. Now, some companies like Sentient or Fly Exclusive don't even have any expiration date, so you can take these flights anytime until the funds run out. Now, the IRS has not given any guidance on this practice, but jet executives say they are complying with the law, which of course didn't require a time frame. Meanwhile, the private jet industry is one of the few travel sectors that's actually largely recovered, with business back to above 80% to where it was pre-COVID. Guys, back to you.
Okay, so Robert, this seems like it would obviously provide a pretty big windfall for these private jet companies. Did they also receive any sort of stimulus? I can't remember, from Washington either earlier this year or as these discussions have unfolded. Are they part of the conversation?
They are definitely part of the conversation, and you're right, they did. In addition to the federal excise tax being waived, they received over $600 million in stimulus from various programs. Now, at the time, this was in the spirit of keeping the more than 1 million jobs that are part of the general aviation industry. Even within the industry, they didn't expect to rebound this quickly. I think the question is, should taxpayers continue to subsidize private jet flights for eternity for flights that are sold right now? And I think, look, that bill was done very quickly. We all know there was mistakes. But this is going to be a question that I'm sure will be raised on Capitol Hill.
But it goes back, Robert, as I think you've indicated. You can buy a jet, right, a private jet, and you can write off the entire cost.
Yeah, and that was a feature of the Trump tax cuts,
right,
that led to a huge boom in private jet sales at the time. So we have a large number of private jets out there. And that was a benefit that, you know, again, you could depreciate that asset immediately. So that was a huge boom. And then the $600 million plus the federal excise tax, this is an industry that has benefited enormously from federal help, and it's recovered quickly.
Yeah. How do they measure those hours, Robert? I'm just curious. Is it time on the ground, too, or is it only actually in the air?
That's a good question. I think it's just time in the air, but I'd have to check on that.
All right, let me know. You know, it looks like a good deal.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.